In this video, I'm beginning the 130 turn on the second day of the Battle of Shiloh, and starting with the Confederate. I don't have a picture for the 130 turn, but I do for the 2 o'clock turn. Polk is idle at his headquarters. He's just delaying, and before long, the Union's going to be probably knocking on his door. Breckinridge calls the Kentucky Brigade back into his range with him, and Bowen and Bowen's brigade attacks Sweeney. Sweeney's a federal brigade in the grove between Wickerfield and Cloudfield, so tangled up there. And not much really happens with this. It's just shooting back and forth. On the Union part of the 130 turn, General Buell from the Army of the Ohio sends orders to Nelson to attack the rebels' right flank at Bloody Pond. So this order will arrive next turn at 2 o'clock. Meanwhile, the other leaders are in delay. Lew Wallace is sitting, McCook is sitting, and, General Grant rides out to Wallace's headquarters just to find out what's going on, I guess. So not much happens there. But at Wickerfield, Sweeney's brigade is entangled with Stratham's troops, and both sides suffer some losses. And Breckinridge happens to have to take a casualty check, but he is good to go. So that brings the 130 turn to a close. I'll show a little piece of the map while I describe what happens at 2 o'clock. On the 2 o'clock turn, the Confederates go through the command phase. Polk is still not doing anything, but Breckinridge does press his attack on the Union left. And this time, Breckinridge tries to get out of harm's way so that he's not on the front lines having to take casualty checks. So he gets in between the buildings near Wickerfield. Small arms fires exchange. Both sides suffer some losses on this. And you can see that in the picture here, that area. Also on the other flank, which isn't in the picture, Clark's division is battling with Hare's brigade, and there's really no effect on the defensive fire, and not much happens there other than Chalmers and Gladden's brigades do recover some stragglers, and Stevens' brigade recovers enough stragglers to put his counter back on the map, so that's good for the Confederates. Then we go to the Union part of the turn. So General Grant gives in-person orders to Lew Wallace, hoping to get his point across to march to Crescent Field, and then to turn the Confederate left and defend the secondary road. And despite heavy losses, McClernand presses the attack against the Confederate left. So Grant's orders are received by Wallace, but they're in delay again. He's still got to figure out what he's doing. And McCook does implement Buell's orders and pulls out with the 2nd Division of the Army of the Ohio. So amazingly, also General Nelson's division decides to move. These were unlikely. They were both in delay, and they required a die roll of 1 on the D6. So it's fairly remarkable that they've implemented this. So Nelson's division, you can see this in the bottom part of the map, gets across the stream. Actually, Bruce's brigade gets to the stream there. And then McCook's division, you can see, is just a little bit behind them in the top right part of the map. They are in column. You can see the counters are flipped to the column side, so they can get a little bit better march position. And then Compton's brigade and Morton's brigades both get into range of fire of the Kentucky brigade. So the rebels open fire on the M2, and the 81st Ohio becomes shaken. You can see that in the top center of the picture, those units. Then to the west, and I think you can't see this in the picture, Clark's division is engaged with McClernand, and both sides suffer some losses and fire on Russell's extended lines. Russell's brigade suffers 2 losses and a straggler loss, so this is fairly damaging. Anyway, that brings the 2 o'clock turn to a close. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned if you'd like to see what happens at 2:30. Have a great day.